Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary DeVos, do you know how many Corinthian students had negative information wrongly added to their credit reports?
How many students with the mistake that was made most recently?
How many students had negative information wrongly added to their credit report? I'm not asking about your staff, ma'am. I'm asking about you. Do you know the exact number? Ma'am, Secretary DeVos, do you know the exact number?
Congresswoman, I am consulting with the Chief Operating Officer of Federal Student Aid, who is charged with the running and implementation of this program.
Right, I appreciate that. But if you didn't know, the answer could just be no, and that's okay.
I'm trying to find out if I can give you an accurate answer.
Okay.
The reality is we don't distinguish within the loans that have been pending and processed. So the answer is we don't, that information is not collected.
Okay. Well, so far your department has publicly released the number, and it's 5,900 Corinthian students whose credit reports were wrongly affected. Now, you're aware that negative information on your credit report, like information that says you're not paying your student loans, can lower your credit score. Is that correct?
All of the students who were impacted by the mistake that was made have been remediated.
We're going to get to the remediation. I was just asking.
I'm going to get to the remediation now because it's been done.
Reclaiming my time.
So let's go on to the
Chairman,
next question.
Reclaiming my
please.
time. Secretary DeVos, have you ever been denied a home or a car loan because your credit score was too low?
I have not.
Okay, but you do know how an unfairly low credit score or bad credit report can affect students. What are some specific examples of those harms?
In fact, all of the students that had credit reports affected have been remediated.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We will continue to pay attention
you know what,
to
ma'am?
not having it happen again.
Thank you. So we know that students whose credit reports get harmed, it impacts their ability to buy home and auto loans. It can lead to job loss. The consequences are real and they're personal and they have really devastating impacts on students. So I want to share a few of their stories. Naquisha Johnson from my home state of Illinois earned a degree as a medical administrative assistant from a Corinthian school, but we now know that that degree is almost worthless. But Ms. Johnson is left with those student loans. She just had a job offer rescinded because her credit score shows delinquent loans. Julie Decker from Indiana lost her home and her car while waiting for the debt relief that she's legally entitled to. Now her credit has suffered so much that she can't find a new apartment to rent. So let's go back to that 5,900 number. You previously said that only 900 students' credit scores were affected, but last week you disclosed an additional 5,000 students. Are there more disclosures to come, or can you commit right now that you have discovered and corrected every unfair report on the Corinthian students' credit?
Congresswoman, I too feel for the individuals that you've cited in your examples. And again, once again, am committed to ensuring that we do what's right for all students who have submitted borrower defense claims. We have continued to be diligent, correcting the errors that were made. We have acknowledged them. We have said we are sorry for them, and we're going to continue to be vigilant to make sure that we do not incur more of them. We have put notices in the servicer's files, which has significant implications for future federal contracts.
Sure.
We have continued to make sure that consequences for the mistakes that were made are levied, and that students are we continue to put students first in this case. The ones that did have credit ratings impacted, again, we have addressed those. We will continue, if there are instances in the future, we will do so with them as well.
Right, my concern, ma'am, is that this group of students may just be the tip of the iceberg. Your department just disclosed this larger number, the additional 5,000 students last week, as a result of one lawsuit, as a result of a court order. It doesn't include the Corinthian students who aren't involved in this particular class action or who joined a different lawsuit with their state attorney general or otherwise. It doesn't include the hundreds of thousands of students who went to fraudulent schools that aren't Corinthian schools, who may also be eligible for borrowed defense. And even worse, your own former deputy, Wayne Johnson, gave an interview a few weeks ago about student loans where he said, quote, "Right now, I know that millions of people have unfair information in their credit files that's causing them to pay more on car loans and on apartments." So Secretary DeVos, you both have the responsibility and the existing authorities to do something about it. And what we're trying to determine is what's the right number. Is it 900? Is it 5,000? Or are we into the millions, ma'am? I yield back.
Ladies,